Anna's Path to English Mastery, a Journey of Growth and Courage. Anna lived in a small, picturesque village in Spain. Her world was familiar, cozy, and predictable, surrounded by family, friends, and the rhythm of everyday life. Yet, she harbored a dream. She wanted to learn English. But each time she opened a textbook or listened to a song in English, it felt like diving into an ocean where she couldn't swim. The words blurred together, and grammar rules felt like impossible riddles. The fear of failure and embarrassment loomed large in Anna's mind. Her classmates laughed at her mistakes during lessons, and she found it easier to avoid speaking English at all. Every time she mispronounced a word or couldn't find the right expression, she felt disheartened. Maybe I'm just not good with languages, she thought. However, there was also a small, persistent part of her that refused to give up completely. One day, a visitor came to their village, a traveler from Australia named Claire. Claire spoke no Spanish, and although Anna hesitated, she summoned her courage and tried speaking with her in English. Their conversation was full of pauses, gestures, and even a few laughs over misunderstandings. But it worked. Anna realized something powerful. Communication doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to connect. That evening, she sat by her window, reflecting on her conversation with Claire. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. "Even if it's hard, I'll keep trying." The first steps: building the habit. Anna decided that instead of seeing English as a mountain to conquer, she would treat it as a path to explore, step by step. She set small, daily goals: 5 new words every day, a short sentence written in English, and 5 minutes of listening to English songs or podcasts. In the beginning, it was difficult. Her mind would mix English with Spanish, and progress seemed painfully slow. But she promised herself that she wouldn't focus on speed, she would focus on showing up every day. After a few months, Anna realized that learning was becoming part of her routine. She no longer dreaded opening her notebook or clicking on an English language video. She celebrated small victories: the first time she understood a sentence without translating it in her head, the first time she wrote a diary entry without consulting the dictionary, and the first time she caught herself singing along to a song in English. Her mistakes still frustrated her, but she began to see them differently. Each mistake is just a step forward, she reminded herself. Facing fear. Joining a language exchange group. One of Anna's biggest fears was speaking English in public. But she knew that if she wanted to improve, she had to push herself beyond her comfort zone. So, one day, she joined an online language exchange group. The idea of speaking with strangers from around the world terrified her, but she told herself, it's okay to be scared. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Her first conversation was clumsy and full of awkward silences. But the other participants were kind, offering encouragement instead of judgment. Over time, Anna became more comfortable. She learned that every conversation was a chance to grow, and every mistake was an opportunity to learn something new. Through these exchanges, Anna made friends from different countries. They didn't just teach her English, they introduced her to new cultures, ideas, and perspectives. She started looking forward to their weekly chats, not just as language practice but as windows into a world much larger than her own. Immersion, traveling abroad. A year later, Anna decided to take the boldest step yet. She booked a trip to London. It was her first time traveling alone to an English-speaking country. As the plane touched down, she felt a familiar wave of anxiety wash over her. What if I get lost? What if I can't make myself understood? She worried. On her first day in the city, those fears became reality. She got lost in the bustling London Underground. Standing in front of a complicated subway map, panic bubbled up inside her. But then she took a deep breath and reminded herself, "You've come this far. You can do this." Gathering her courage, she approached a stranger. "Excuse me, can you help me?" she asked nervously. To her surprise, the man smiled and kindly gave her directions. And just like that, Anna found her way. That moment changed everything. For the first time, Anna realized that she could communicate, even if her sentences weren't perfect, even if her accent was noticeable. What mattered was that she had been brave enough to try. And it had worked. Looking back, becoming an English teacher. Years passed, and Anna's English grew stronger with each day. She read novels in English, watched movies without subtitles, and even gave presentations at international conferences. But her proudest achievement wasn't her own fluency, it was the impact she had on others. Anna decided to become an English teacher, returning to her village to help others who, like her, felt overwhelmed by the challenge of learning a new language. She knew exactly what her students were going through, the fear, the frustration, the desire to give up. But she also knew how to guide them forward, step by step. Learning a language isn't about being perfect, she would tell her students. It's about being willing to try, even when it's hard. It's about showing up every day and believing that mistakes are part of the journey. Anna's classroom became a place of encouragement and growth. Her students didn't just learn English, they learned resilience, patience, and the joy of connecting with others across cultures. The lesson of Anna's journey. Anna's story is a reminder that learning a language is not a race, it's a journey of persistence and courage. It's about embracing the process, celebrating small victories, and knowing that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Through her journey, Anna discovered that the key to mastering English wasn't talent or perfection, it was the willingness to keep trying, even when it felt impossible. And in the end, it wasn't just English she learned. She learned the power of believing in herself and the beauty of connecting with the world, one word at a time. This longer version of Anna's journey shows how anyone, with persistence and an open heart, can overcome their fears and achieve fluency in English. Like Anna, all it takes is patience, practice, and the courage to keep going.